Your competition is not other people, but the time you kill, the ill will you create, the knowledge you neglect to learn, and the connections you fail to build. As creators, we must make something never made before. But are we doing this alone? Or are we in it together? We're driving a mobile incubator across America, and we've come to Tulsa, Oklahoma, to ask 100 artists one question. How does collaboration add to your creativity? And that one says the creative process, but I think it's better just to say
I think it's your
creativity. Yeah.
Feel comfortable asking that question. I definitely feel comfortable making people feel welcome.
I know you do.
So
That's why I wanted you to be here.
yeah.
If it was just my point of view, like that's boring as hell.
People are still taking something, even if they're stealing it, they're still going to put their own spin to it to some extent.
If you see people that are doing a thing and you like it and they're welcoming to you and you can come into that space where they are, then I think that opens up something in you so that then you can be more open and it just spreads. You know, it's like the greatest disease alive.
You know, with a lot of us, we are protective of our creativity like it's our child.
Yeah.
Right? We are very uber protective, you know what I mean? So much that you don't want your baby to be to be affected by other stimulus, you know what I'm saying? Or even
like
elements. Right. You just, and even if you've never had a child, it's just like you just don't, you're so protective of your baby, right? That you don't want it to be touched by the elements.
Yeah.
It's like the elements are good, you know what I mean? Baby
And then I
needs
can't
sunlight
enjoy the
sometimes.
world.
Yeah. So, I get it, be protective, but at the same time, let your baby influence. You don't want nobody biting your shit, stealing your shit, right? You don't. But at the same time, let it go enough to where somebody could be influenced.
Collaboration enlarges my creativity by, I can plant the seed, but if I collaborate with others, they can water it, they can bring fertilizer, they might even bring some kind of festive pots for once it grows, something to put it in. I think it's important to brainstorm with people and get their ideas because my idea might not be the end-all be-all.
What's the difference between collaboration and competition?
The reason I'm bringing Dragon Ball Z up is Super Saiyans, whenever they get defeated, they're in competition. Whenever they get defeated, they don't feel defeated. It's like, okay, he's stronger or she's stronger. Now I know that there's another level that I have to aspire to, so they train harder. Reach that level. So that's how I feel about it. If you're good, I don't have to tear you down. It doesn't have to be a tearing down part of the competition. It could be, this person is great. I feel that I don't have to tear anybody down to be better.
I don't think creativity can happen in a vacuum. Like, I know that some artists work that way, but I know I don't. So I've always operated my best when I have an incredible team to work with because no one person is amazing at everything.
So trust in the relationship that develops through the process becomes really important. The relationship of integrity, honesty, openness, willingness, courage. Those are like old-fashioned virtues that you really get to practice when you're working intimately with somebody on something. And those are the exact kind of virtues that I want to be in my work.
What does collaboration feel like?
I was at Canes and I was doing an event called Shining the Light, and it was about brain injury. It was a starting of a brain injury foundation, and got asked to do a live painting for it, and I didn't want to do it by myself. I wanted to include the audience in that process. It was a really awesome night. I probably went home and cried. A lot of brain injury survivors started coming up and painting on it. And I just sporadically through the night had survivors, brain injury survivors, draw painting on it. I had volunteers painting on it. By the end of the night, it was just kind of this collaboration. I mean, I was directing it, you know, but it was a piece that was created by everybody there. So it opened me up to this reality, like this is, I definitely need to be here because we need this. But the whole process was very spiritual, you know. I think at the end of the day, it was a very, I cry, you know.
If collaboration is so important, what stops us from collaborating?
Fear of not meeting up to the same standards of other people, fear of somebody else's work being better than theirs. And also I think artists tend to be a little solitary because they may be doing the artwork for a very personal reason.
Collaboration, you know, it's very like, people think of it as like this kumbaya situation, like, oh my God, and then together we went and conquered or whatever, you know. It's not like that. I think you hit it right on the head with like, it's messy, it's, you know, there's no rules, like you said, and so establishing even the parameters of where the people that are coming together, like that we understand our roles, that we understand their contributions.
I mean, collaborative is a very Western idea of, or, you know, like, you know, I'm native, I'm indigenous, I'm Seminole and Muskogee Creek. And I don't think that from indigenous societies that, you know, it was a collaboration. You know, there wasn't like someone making everyone's sculpture by themselves and like getting some sort of status. Like it was like, because I feel like art was incorporated more into life. There wasn't as much of a separation. And in life, those societies had to collaborate. So inevitably with art, they also had to collaborate.
So I know that when the collaboration gets hard, a lot of it becomes things like the ownership part. And I think that it usually comes from a sense of fear and the unknown and insecurity, because you don't know what's going to happen and you don't know if there's a seat for you at the table. But then who owns the table, and why don't you just build another table? And why don't we build tables together? And then there's a lot of talk about transparency, and I like to get away from the words like transparency, because I think that it's about visibility.
Mabuhages, old-timers say that once a long time ago the sun grew so hot that all the water dried up. All the streams and the lakes, they dried up. There was not one drop of water that could be found. So all the animals, they got together and they said, we need a well. So all great animals, they were called upon to use their powers and what they knew to help bring about this well. So they say they called upon Ijo, the deer. He took his antlers and he began to plow into the earth, while other animals such as the mole were used to living in the soil. They helped carry away the extra dirt. The bear, he began to plow with his great claws into the earth, until one after one, every animal using their own talents combined began to bring forth the earth. And at one point they hit water, and pretty soon life-sustaining, refreshing water filled up their little well, and they were really happy. And we use all of our talents, the old timers say, and we work together, good things come